Look what showed up today. According to AliExpress, this was not supposed to come until around April 19. Today's March 7. So, no, 6. And from date of ordering until today is 3 weeks and 2 days. Very surprising. I have ordered pickups and I was pondering new tuners that I might need for this guitar, which are now not going to arrive until after the guitar. I figured those parts would arrive sooner. All right, let's see what we got. And the good news is I didn't pay any taxes on this one this time. Oh, somebody wrote a bunch of Chinese stuff on here. Ooh, they said the value of the guitar was $70. I paid $326 and change for this, and there's a story about that. I was looking for something that I didn't already have, so I was on AliExpress because there was nothing on Amazon anywhere, and I didn't like any more Fireflies that I already have everything of that I want. So I decided to go on AliExpress to see if I could find something I didn't already have, and I found this. And I thought, what the hell? I didn't know what it was. I had to look it up, research it, find out like what was it about. Something wet. It's wet on the inside. There's actual water on the inside. I think I got Chinese water on the inside. Ooh. That doesn't sound good. Chinese water on the inside. Anyway, I saw this and I didn't know what it was. So as I said, I was looking it up. And I found out it had something to do with Zakk Wylde. Now I don't know Zakk Wylde from a hole in the ground. Oh, well, there is water all over the bottom of this thing. Cable. Nothing else in there. Oh, yes. Water, water everywhere. Zakk Wylde, Black Label Society. And I'm going, what the hell is a Black Label Society? Turns out it's the name of his band. Now, you know I'm not a metal guy. And I don't really know anything about metal people. So yes, the guitar is all wet. Look at that. Look at that. There's water. There's more water on the guitar. Oh, I can't actually see that in the light. There it is. There's more water on the guitar than there was in the box. It's like they hosed it down before they shipped it. And there's a big crack right here in the back. There's a crack right there in the back of it. That's probably because of all this water. So I'm not a big fan of that. Ooh. That's been sitting in water for a while. Coming here. Yeah, the back cracked. At least it's the back. Let's check the front. Check the front. Switch feels good. Oh, Jay. Black hardware, Jay. I thought you'd like that. So, I don't have anything like this. When I saw the shape, I go, oh, that's interesting. Yeah. And, you know, it's not a Les Paul, and it doesn't say, you know, Gibson on it. On the back of it, it has same kind of stuff that I saw in the pictures, 7 by 17 by 18, Joliet IL chapter, looks like a Zach Wild signature, 2018 SDMF, looks like that. Okay, this has a set neck, so that's good. The poly, I think, saved the neck from the water problem. Oop. And that has a point on it that you got to be careful of. Sad about the crack on the back, but the front looks good. So, the story continues. I was on AliExpress and I was looking at this guitar from a number of different sellers. And the one I was looking at primarily was something called Death something or other. I'm thinking, well, that sounds like a metal place. And I got to another one that was called a numbered shop seller, and it was $326. It was listed as $326 on the website, and then I left that tab on the computer and I went to another couple of places to look. And then when I jumped back to this tab that had the lowest price at $326, and I didn't want to pay over $300, all of a sudden it was $286. And I said, is that real? I refreshed the page, it came back at $286, and I hit the buy button. And I got it for $286. Now today, I looked it up on my orders, and today it's listed, let me get closer, it's listed on that website at $395 and no longer available, but down at the bottom here it says 5 left. So that's a bit peculiar. So this is still available on other sellers' sites. And I saw one that was like back at $326, I think, when I was looking this up this morning. Well, just after it came. And I'm going, okay. So the strings are loose, fret ends. You know, not terribly bad. They need a touch. The frets are, let's see, with glasses. So with glasses on, the frets are medium. The fretboard looks like rosewood. The big block inlays, right? They're big block inlays, and they feel good. They're like a nice acrylic block inlay. There's EMG on the pickup covers. Oh, and the plastic is inside the mounting rings. So this just has I guess a weird W on the headstock. Still a drop of water there, a couple of drops. Is that a weird W, an M? I'm not sure if it's a Wild or whatever it is. On the back of it, it says crafted in South Korea. WA 180, 188. And there's something about compart with, compliant with the ROHS blah blah blah, which is the European manufacturing standards. So they have what looks like fake Grover tuners. There is a slight little bit of a play in them. Yeah, they feel cheap. I was expecting that. That's why I was looking for replacements. Wilkinson makes a nice replacement. Black Grovers for this replacement is $100 if you can get them here. This back end looks like it's a sticker of some kind that they put on, and then they polyed over it. I can feel a slight lip, but there's no problem with the poly. I did notice something that Beanie complains about a lot from Florida is that they have a spacer here. You have the heel, and then they put in the spacer here. I saw that on the pictures. That's the way they built it. It's very nicely done, though. It's almost the same. It feels nice around there. I'm going to weigh this. There's no push-pulling on these things. They say they're EMG, but I don't think they're supposed to be battery-powered. The screws on the back here are very small, poorly screwed in. These are raised above. They're actually not very nice. There's a gap along the upper side of that, and then the screws here are seated right down inside the plastic cover. We're going to open those up and see as well. The bottom is not broken. Oh, there's a tiny bit of rust around this screw because I guess it's been in the water a while. I'm going to have to open that up and find out, like, the water inside. Is there? Why was there water inside the box? It's like they hosed this thing down before they put it in the bag and inside the sarcophagus. Oh, it is the bigger one. Number 2. The backs are probably a number 1. Okay. Alright, yeah, there was water there for a while. Yeah, the black screw is rusted. It goes right inside the cup. Not that I use these straps, but still. I'm not up for rust on anything. Do a better job of that later. Yeah, the hole where it came out of is small, like that, and it's well done. Okay, no other damage around there. Now the jack also goes in with those tiny little screws. There's some rust on those screws there. I will have to pull out the jack to check its internals as well. I'll speed some of this up. I wanted to open this cover on camera just in case. I found a whole lot of water in there, and there isn't, so it was only on the surface. Now this crack may have occurred from the water. It seems like it's swelled up a tiny little bit, and I can feel it. So yeah, there's a tiny little crack there. I may be able to do some kind of magic trick with this. So inside we've got the 3 time-size pots, as expected. They all come with that, except for a few. So I figured that the price they want for some of these guitars, and I don't know if it's because it's Zach Wild, whatever, Black Label Society, got to pay a royalty of some kind. Um, I was hoping that, you know, most of it would be good, the bones would be good. And I really expected that I was going to have to take out the pickups, and I've got some on order coming, which are black and white zebra, hoping they would be better than whatever's here. If I don't like that, that switch feels okay. We'll look at that too. Um, and the bridge has those springs in it. Let me get you up a little bit close. It has the springs in the bridge, which when you try to do intonation, depending on where they've placed the posts, sometimes when you need to get this a little bit far forward, that spring in there stops this from being able to go forward far enough. So that what you do then is you flip the whole thing around so that the springs are on the back side and there's no obstruction in here if you're going to save that bridge. I prefer the roller, and because the screws are here and that is so close to this ring, there is not a lot of space to be able to get a screwdriver in there, especially to do the low E one. It's quite a bit below where the pickup is. So I think there'd be a little bit more space going in from the back anyway, which is probably something I would do with a roller bridge replacement. Stop bars are usually okay. We'll see if they're well anchored into the body. But this little crack on the back is something that I think I might be able to do something with by maybe putting some resin in there and you know, a white marker and then some resin in the crack and sand it off, a little wet sanding and buffing up, and I might be able to fix that. So the back end is fairly clean, except for some really rough, you know, routing. Give you a close-up of the headstock on the back and the front. Since it was different from a Gibson, I thought, okay, I'm going to go with that. Oh, there's rust on these strings. So I will probably use these strings just to validate the nut, but I can tell it's a plastic nut because there's residue up here on the back end. Will it focus there? Yeah, see there's a little bit of residue behind those strings, and that's plastic residue that's hanging off the back. So this nut will have to go. There's something strange with that nut on this side. Looks like there might be a little bit of a spacer underneath the back side of this nut, and I'll have to cut it out of the poly with my knife to make sure that it's all scarred around there so it comes out nice and doesn't chip all the way back on the neck. So those are all things I can see. I expected a lot of that to happen. This binding is pretty nice up the neck. Black dots on the top. So yeah, you know, all in all, so far not a horrible experience just from this part. The water has never happened before, so that's completely new, right? Water inside the sarcophagus that your guitar is sitting in inside the bag. That's pretty strange. As you saw, there's no shielding of any kind, and I usually don't bother with these anymore because they're humbuckers. And since I don't gig out underneath a bunch of lights and stuff, I really don't have that kind of a problem. Okay. This has a very strange looking bridge on it. I forgot to mention that. It looks like the ABR1 style bridge, which I don't have one for, now that I'm looking at it. It has a tiny little post, and it's not solid like most of them. It's hollow, and I don't think it's an Allen key opening. The wheel works. Tension's off the strings. But yeah, I'm gonna have to look for a black bridge roller that has those posts, or if they're M8s, I'm just going to change the posts and use the bridge I have. I can change these things to the other type that come with my, and as long as they're an M8 thread, they should fit right in there. Alright, we're going to call the initial inspection part of this video done, and we're going to get back to you with part 2, whatever that, well, turns out to be.